And we begin, of course, with the Apple event that was held on Tuesday.
AirPods Pro 3.
AirPods Pro 3. So one of the big pieces of news is they have a heart rate sensor in them now. I was a bit skeptical about what that would actually be used for, but it turns out what they've enabled is doing workouts with just an iPhone without an Apple Watch, which
That's
I think
neat.
has been long overdue, so that's not a nice quality of life improvement. Also, as you alluded to earlier, live translation, which is coming to phone messages and FaceTime with iOS 26, which should have just come out to the public while we were live. That is going to be available on AirPods as well. In fact, I think it's going to be available on the latest existing AirPods, not just the new Pro 3s. Other than that, improvements to sound quality was, and apparently 4 times better noise cancellation.
There's also rumours, and I must say this is merely rumours at this point, that at some point in the future, Apple will finally do the thing that they've been anticipated to do for years and sack off Bluetooth.
Interesting. I've not heard about this.
Yeah, this has only been rumored in the past few days that I'll try and find the name of the specific codec, but there have been rumors that with the combination of the newer AirPods and some of the newer hardware in the new iPhones coming right up, that they will have a much lower latency, as low as 10 milliseconds connection between the iPhone and the AirPods, which is sort of the tech that they're using for the low latency audio in the Vision Pro, but rolled out to iPhones. Watch this space.
The other rumor about the AirPods, of course, is they're going to have cameras in them for A, gesture sensing, and B, so that you can ask it, what am I looking at?
I don't know, get your phone out.
Yep. Moving on to the Apple Watch, which had a relatively low-key year, although we saw an update for both the Ultra and the SE, as well as the base model. Hypertension notifications were kind of the big health launch. They've also launched a sleep score to compete with Whoop. And the Ultra 3 got satellite connectivity. That was about it, really.
Yeah.
In fact, it was such a snooze of a year that for the first time ever, the chip doesn't even have a new name. Now, note on the Apple Watch SoCs, they increment the number, and that's basically it. For a few years running, they had essentially the same chip, gave it a new number. This year, the Series 11 and its ilk all have the S10 in them still. Moving on to the iPhone, starting with the base model.
Yes, so there are 4 new iPhones.
There are
5 technically new iPhones, if you count the Plus and the Pro Max.
It's not a Plus anymore.
4 new iPhones. I was tripped up.
New iPhones.
So first of all, the base iPhone 17, it's largely an incremental improvement, isn't it?
It is. One of the features which I think will be quite popular is the new front-facing camera. They're calling it a center stage camera, and the key thing that it can do is it's a square sensor now. So if you're taking a selfie, you can take one that's either in portrait or landscape orientation, no matter which way you're holding your phone, and in fact the phone will intelligently move the shot to get everyone in the frame. Mm-hmm. What else? The 17 base model finally gets ProMotion and the always-on display, which began with the iPhone 13. So it's been 4 years for that to trickle down. I mean, it has Pro in the name. It was kind of one of the differentiators for the Pro, but that has now finally made its way down.
I'm joining the bed because I also have opinions on this.
Go on. What are your opinions on the base model and slash the AirPods and Apple Watch?
So, I didn't watch. I tuned into the event just as they were starting the bits on the phone. So my knowledge of what's going on with the AirPods isn't that big. But yeah, they look good. But I've currently got the Pro 2, and I'm not tempted because a lot of the things that you were saying were also available on software updates. So yeah, I think they're really cool. And if you're getting new AirPods, absolutely. But I'm not tempted to upgrade my 2s, is where I'm going on that. But the iPhones, now that, I think the 17 base model is really, I think it's ace.
One other thing that they've added that we haven't mentioned is a higher peak brightness of the screen. They claim it would go up to 3,000 nits.
Yes.
Yeah, and given the amount of times if I'm outside trying to use my phone, I'm just cursing it out because I just can't see it. Because sunlight hits it. Pardon me. Sunlight hits it, can't see anything. So a higher brightness that will be fantastic when on the few occasions it's sunny in England.
I was going to say, the base model improvements, and obviously then bring the 120 hertz screen stuff, and also a 1 hertz always on display, which is really cool for battery life. I'm genuinely tempted now to jump in to the Apple. Like, I'm not someone, like, I've been an outspoken, like, Android person for a long time. Like, I won't be this phone. It might be the next iPhone, or I might get a 17 when the 18's out. Like, I'm not upgrading right now. My Pixel 8's doing me fine. I'm in no position to upgrade, but I'm genuinely considering making the jump next time I upgrade my phone.
I do think the 17 base model is the best base model of a new iPhone that they've released in a while.
Yeah, because the problem I've had with iPhones a lot of the time recently is for stuff that I want, like the 120 hertz screen and stuff like that, you've pretty much had to go to a Pro model, which have been prohibitively expensive compared to like the base model. At this point, the base model it's expensive because it's an iPhone, but it's a decent price for, like, because I don't need all the bells and whistles, but certain bells and whistles I kind of wouldn't live out like a 20 hertz screen. And just to have that on the base model now, it's very nice, and it's genuinely making me consider doing the switch.
Then they came out with the iPhone Air, not the iPhone 17 Air. The iPhone
just
Air.
the Air, which is interesting. Although one thing I do
Hold on,
very
we should
much.
explain what it is.
Okay, we can explain it first.
iPhone, but thin. The
That's-
thinnest one ever.
You want
Unless
iPhone
just
Pro?
Ignore that bit. Ignore that bit. There, look how thin it is.
Yeah, you want iPhone Pro, but you want it really, really thin. And it's like, yes, it's what, 5.6 mil, I think? Something like that. Except if you ignore all the places where it's not.
And the reason is basically that's the phone, and that is a battery.
Yeah, it's just battery and
a
screen.
display.
All of the processors, everything, it's in this lump that is decidedly not 5.6 mil.
And there are
even
obviously
with
a
the
lot
cameras
of
as well, and-
interesting conclusions to draw about that, thinking about future plans for things like foldables and glasses that go, oh, okay, you can put a pretty decent pro-ish iPhone into that amount of space.
Yeah, but it also, when I first saw it, I was like, oh God, I remember the iPhone 6 Plus. Is it just going to start bending in people's pockets? But then they did clarify it. No, okay, they've got, I can't remember what the exact name of it is, but like highly unbreakable glass on
Ceramic shield.
That's the one, on both the back and the screen. And I'm like, why don't you put this on the other iPhones?
Good question.
But it's on the Air,
Yeah.
which, given it's that thin, is probably a good thing. Because if it wasn't, I would be terrified that would break and blow up. But
The other thing that I found interesting about this is that, a slight spoiler, but it has the same CPU as the Pro model. However, in the Pro model's presentation, they spent an exuberant amount of time talking about the cooling and heatsink on the Pro, which makes me wonder what the thermals of the Air are going to be like if it's
Yeah.
got the same CPU.
And given that throughout, because they announced them as 17 base model first, then the Air, then the Pro, and throughout the iPhone Air, demonstration explanation, they were saying things like, "Oh, it's the same as the Pro," or "It's better than the Pro," and I'm like, okay, so you've got the base model, and then you've got Pro but thin and Air but bigger battery. Is kind of what it seems like to me. But
I think
yeah.
another thing I want to touch on, and Cameron touched on it quickly, is the other thing that's making me consider going to Apple more from the iPhone Air is not the iPhone Air, but the possibility of Apple making a foldable. And it feels like a lot of these tech jumps with the Air lend themselves hand in hand to going to a foldable.
Yeah, 'cause
and
was it
for
a flip
context,
or a fold you used to have, Kory?
I daily drove the Samsung Z Fold 3 for a good number of years. That was the fold-out one, the good form factor. And I'm still in love with that form factor. I had to move away from it because of, not flexibility, what's the word? Reliability issues just with the hardware. I had hardware issues quite a few times. And, I've always wanted to jump back in and get a foldable. So I think if Apple makes a foldable, I'd be really interested in seeing how that is. I might jump into it again.
Rumour is it's coming this time next year.
Yeah, you mentioned rumor this time next year, which makes sense, them doing the Air now and then building on that for the foldable. I'm going to be really excited to come.
I'm totally... Hello, I can't be bothered to
Jamie says he's totally changing.
Oh.
This is Jamie. I will switch to Apple. Watch these words if they produce a foldable. Heat this space.
Quote this, and we'll come back to him. One thing that did amuse me when I first saw that, I went, "What in the Google Pixel?" Because if you look at it from the back, you know the Pixel
it is
camera
just
bump.
a pixel.
That's exactly what it looks like, and it's like
They've
Google are moving
Sorry.
towards Apple. Apple are moving towards Google. Are we going to have basically one OS
No.
and one phone in a couple of years?
No. Moving on to the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max.
Yeah, here they are. No black one, which is interesting. And also, you'll note the design here. It's a unibody, aluminium unibody. They've gone back from titanium, which was a big part of their whole thermals discussion. That bit there still has to be glass so that it can do wireless charging,
That's
which
why
is an
it's got
awkward
the...
little compromise.
It's got the same pixel-esque bump in it, so they've
Yes.
extended the camera bump.
The Apple marketing word is plateau.
It's a bump. It's a bump.
Oh.
But yeah, also the colour choices, I saw it and went, okay, what in the Red Bull Racing? But yeah, I don't know. I haven't quite worked
I
out
like
yet.
the orange.
I haven't worked out if I love or hate the bright orange. I really don't know.
I love it. I think it's cool. But then again, I was someone who owned an iPhone 5C, so I feel like my design choices shouldn't be listened to. But
Fair enough.
I think the closer we get to the 5C, the better. That was peak design for Apple, and I think they just need to go back to just random colors.
You know what? I respect that. I respect that a lot. I do
And-
enjoy like the purple that they had on the base iPhone, that 17. That was good. Give me good colours, Apple.
Anything more on the Pros?
Not particularly. So it's an interesting lineup
for the
they've got
cons.
now, because the Air is only $100 less than the Pro.
Yeah.
The Pro finally got a price increase first time since 2017, but they also doubled the storage, so it's now from $10.99, but you get more storage.
It really just seems in the description, here is all the features. Do you want it thin or do you want it with a giant battery? Because a lot of the main thing that they were selling on was, okay, here's all the features that it's got. Yeah, most of them are the same as the Air, but also look at the giant battery. This is what we're really selling you on. Look at the giant battery.
I'm intrigued if the Air only having a single camera will have any impact, because people do like their 0.5x, which you get on the base model, but you don't get on the Air.
Oh, is that what they've? Because I knew
there's
they
only a
were fewer
1x.
cameras. I do like the 0.5.
They've continued the idea of cropping in from a 48 megapixel sensor counts as a separate optical quality zoom lens. So the big news with the Pros is that these three are all now 48 megapixels, not just the main camera.
Okay.
So they're calling that 8 different professional lenses.
Okay. Pushing it, but
Yeah,
okay.
but the telephoto will be 4x, and then you can crop in from that to 8x. Digital zoom is up to 40x. So still not quite at
crop
the...
into anything. You can just crop and crop. And
Well,
crop.
yes, but they're
Not
saying
well,
that,
you can't.
you know, last year those sensors were 12 megapixels, so you're getting that same quality from taking the middle quarter.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.